Hi, I'm Joe Jacobson at Wycombe Wanderers, and you're listening to Wycombe Sound.
The Wycombe Wanderers Show.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Wycombe Wanderers Show. If you're one of the 15,000 strong at Wembley, hope you had a fantastic day, obviously barring the outcome of the game, but a brilliant day out, a brilliant achievement for the club, and especially, of course, for Matt Bloomfield in his first full season in charge to take us to a cup final at Wembley, the Bristol Street Motors Trophy final. Didn't actually pick up the silverware, obviously, at the end, but a fantastic occasion and another great moment in the club's history. Feels like a long time ago now, doesn't it? We'll get the latest. We'll chat to Luke. He was there in a sort of media capacity. We'll find out what that was like from him. We'll also hear from Emma Newberry from Wycombe Wanderers Women. A busload of them went, although separately. And also, we'll catch up with Jack Grimmer as well. He was there in a, playing capacity. We'll hear from manager Matt Bloomfield shortly as well, speaking to Phil after last night's game against Derby County, which of course was due to be on Saturday, and for reasons which will be obvious, didn't happen then. Also, thanks to the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association, we'll catch up with Craig Woodman, currently in the West Country. We'll be hearing from him very soon. I think that's about it, actually. Part of me thinks there should be more, but no, I think I've covered everything. All that and more, possibly, on the way in the next hour. But first, our regular catch-up with Phil, who kicks off with a reflection on Sunday at Wembley.
Well, it's a good day for the club. Lovely to see all the fans there, over 15,000. So hopefully they had a really good time. The general vibe, I think, despite the defeat, was it was a much more positive experience than losing to Sunderland there. That day did feel like we'd sort of gate crashed on someone else's wedding or something. But Sunday was much more of an even contest. We were really in it. We got to celebrate a goal at the end, obviously not for very long, but it was a good performance, and congratulations to Peterborough. So from a Wycombe perspective, huge positive to take from it, and the experience will stand the young players especially in good stead. And then again, hopefully the fans really enjoyed their day, and we look forward to seeing them at Adams Park in the near future.
Obviously, the manner of the goal, and we heard the manager say after the game, obviously that was hard to take, and I'm sure that the players were gutted. But I think overall it just feels like such a great day of pride of getting to that stage and getting to Wembley, obviously. And as you say, the goal towards the end as well was fantastic, and so many great performances from the players.
Yeah, exactly that, and let's talk about the manager as well, because there was a few raised eyebrows when that team news came out, but they had a game plan, and it worked for large parts of it. You could actually say it worked for the whole game, because the winning goal, doesn't really matter who's on the pitch for that, really. It was a bit of a freak goal. So, but the defence, I thought, played superbly well. I think the game plan was executed really, really well. And we were really in with a shout of winning that game against the team who've been very impressive this season. And again, with Peterborough, with the playoffs last season, the way they lost, 5-4, was it? After being 4-0 up in the playoffs, to come back from that and have the season they have done is exceptional. So, full respect to those guys, because that would have taken some getting over, and they've done it. And it's not over for them yet. They'll be hoping to not go back to Wembley again, because they've got the automatics in their sights. But if they are to go back to Wembley, then they'll be able to use that experience from Sunday to their advantage. Whether they then stick a cross in the last minute in the playoff final is yet to be seen, but we shall see. But Wycombe went toe to toe with them. They made the game scrappy at times, which suited us. And like I say, the game plan I thought was really well executed.
And you imagine as well, don't you, the players, it would make them think, we'd like to do this again as soon as possible.
You would hope so, yeah. I mean, I would very much like to go up automatically next season and not have the extra games of the playoffs and Wembley. Wembley's brilliant, Colin, when you win. When you lose, it's absolutely horrible, certainly in the playoffs. Having experienced both sides of the coin on that one. But I mean, if we do it again in the Bristol Street Motors, or whoever's sponsoring it next year, if we ever do it in that tournament again, then great. We shall see what happens.
Or perhaps a different competition.
Yes, we could obviously the FA Cup semi-finals, which we have got to in the past, is at Wembley now. Obviously some fans disagree with that too, but if we were to get to the semi-final of the FA Cup, we'll be back at Wembley.
And incredible to have another sort of notch, if you like, another visit to the National Stadium. And there have been so many in such recent history for the club. Yeah,
that's the 7th time I've been to Wembley with Wycombe, which is incredible, really. I mean, there'll be fans of teams who are much bigger than us who haven't got there, who haven't got to the semi-final of the FA Cup or the League Cup or had 7 trips to Wembley. So, Wycombe fans, sometimes we sometimes take for granted the things that are offered to us as Wycombe fans, and we've had some really good experiences there over the years.
And not quite the 15,000 last night at the game, but still a sizable number for a Tuesday night game.
Yeah, I think with the game coming midweek, it was a rearranged game as well from the Saturday, and we've seen what that can do to attendances. Credit to the Derby fans as well, who were absolutely rabid, trying to get their team into those or cemented into those top twos. So they sold out well in advance, which was great to see, and they played their part on the night. But I think a lot of them were thinking, oh yeah, this will be another 3 points on our quest for automatic promotion. And obviously the other half of them were worried about what Wycombe did to them last season with the 3-2 win in what turned out to be Gaz's final game as Wycombe manager. But I think some of them were breathing a sigh of relief when the full-time whistle went yesterday, because Wycombe had a real go at them. It was a fantastic game for 0-0 and a really good sign for Wycombe for next season.
And such a positive response to the Wembley final as well.
Yeah, I thought so too. The rotation, 4 changes, centre-backs in, and the strength in depth we currently have at centre-back, fantastic, because, Tafazoli and Joe Lowe, no minutes on Sunday, fresh for that game last night, and they're 2 quality centre-backs, right foot, left foot, both commanding in the air, both good on the ball. So to bring those 2 in was superb. Nigel Lonvike at left back, we knew that he'd played in that position previously. He's played across the back 4 in his short career. He was superb last night. And again, that extra bit of pace dealing with Mendes Lang was a bit of a tactical masterstroke by the gaffer.
And something that you and Brian mentioned last night was the word competitive, which was excellent when you consider what they've been through just a few days previously.
Yeah, and I think now they realise that this is pre-season, really. This is pre-season for next year. I know that sounds odd with 5 games to go of this season, but it's all about finishing as high as we possibly can in a really good frame of mind going into the summer break. They'll be wanting to catch the manager's eye, some players. There'll be players who are on loan here will be thinking, well, if I'm not here next season, where am I going to be? Will I be in the Championship alone at another club, or will I be taken into my parent club and be getting minutes? And that's all based on these performances by those players between now and the end of the season. So, it's very easy for us in the media to sit back and go, oh, they'll be on the beach, they don't care anymore. Players individually have got a responsibility for their own contract situation, and they'll be really putting shifts in. And that's not just a Wycombe, that's across the board. So Shrewsbury, our opponents on Saturday, will be, well, they still need a few points, I think, to kind of remove themselves away from the bottom 4. So I'll be very surprised if they're on the beach too. So I'm expecting another competitive game. But going back to last night, the game against Derby, I thought Wycombe acquitted themselves brilliantly, and the Bolton fans certainly enjoyed watching it too, and certainly us taking a couple of points off Derby on their behalf. And it was great to speak to the gaffer afterwards too, who was really positive after seeing a fantastic performance.
I was so proud of the performance at the weekend, and I really wanted us to follow it up, because I didn't want it, come home to our home ground in front of our supporters, and I didn't want us to turn up and just be an after show. We were playing against one of the biggest clubs in the league, against one of the best managers in the league, one of the best teams in the league, and I wanted us to show ourselves in a good light, and I thought we were excellent.
It was a slightly shaky start, and a few fans might have been thinking, oh, hold on a minute, it's only a few days since Wembley. But after that, you couldn't tell which team was top of the league and which team was in Wycombe's position.
It wasn't just the fans thinking that, I was thinking that on the sideline as well. I was thinking, oh no. First 5-10 minutes, there was a couple of shaky moments, but I think after about 10-15 minutes, we suddenly burst into life. We had one good move, played through Fred and Butch in the middle of the park, and I thought, here we go, we're starting to get ourselves going. I thought for the next 75 minutes, we were excellent. Maybe gave up a couple of too many chances in the first half, but to play against a team of the calibre of Derby and not give up a shot on target, I don't believe that. I've just been told. So if that's the case, then I think that's an incredible stat for us. And then second half, some of the football we played, I thought we were excellent. We're trying to play in a way that we believe and develop in a way we believe. And the boys are taking on the messages. And I've been, really, really pleased with that tonight.
Nigel Lonvike given the sponsors man of the match at left back, and backing up that superb performance from Sunday too, but in a different position.
Yeah, again, probably a big call. Lukey was excellent. I thought on Sunday, absolutely excellent. But it was a slightly different game that we felt down that side tonight. And Lukey put a lot into the performance. We felt we needed to rotate the bodies slightly to get the fresh energy in. And we think a lot of Nige. He's a great boy. He wants to take on the information, and we think he's got a big future. I thought he was excellent tonight.
And Richard Kone, again mentioned on Sunday, but another really, really fabulous performance from him up top against some experienced and decent defenders.
Yeah, to contradict myself slightly, it's wrong of me to pick out individuals. So I thought it was such a good, strong team performance. But again, Rich, he's made such a big step step up from step 7. He was excellent Sunday, and to turn that around, his numbers, his running stats were really, really high on Sunday. So we were, not sure whether to play him tonight, but he's obviously young, recovers quickly, and again against 2 real good players, I thought he was very, very good.
And it seemed to be at points in that second half, what was lovely to see was when the ball was out of play, 2 teams desperate to get it back into play, desperate for the 3 points.
Yeah, because it's the way we want to play. We want to get the ball in. It's changed, hasn't it, with the multi-ball this year, and the rules we had earlier in the season about getting the ball in play quicker and the added time that I'm not sure if they're still using or not. It's slightly different now, but yeah, it was 2 teams going at it. We didn't want to just turn up and be an after show and a side show to derbies. We wanted to make sure, we're trying to build something we believe in and something that we're passionate about, and we want our supporters to continue come and enjoy watching their team and be proud of their team. So I absolutely believe that we did that tonight. 5
to go. This was the last one under the lights at Adams Park this season, and you've given the fans something to talk about on the way down the industrial estate today.
Yeah, I love the nights here. I've spoken about it a lot before. When the lights are on and there's a zip on the surface, the game's quick, and the supporters get right behind it, and especially second half attacking the terrace. I really wanted one of those late moments. I thought Gideon, when he's gone on that little run, that would have been a lovely moment for him. So yeah, such a shame that didn't go in. But yeah, I believe that we're heading in the right direction. I think everyone can see what we're trying to do, the identity we're trying to build. We've got lots of work to go, but there's been some promising signs for sure.
And how important is it to finish strongly this season now? Because obviously it's mid-table, but it's been a good season with Wembley as well. It's times where it's been testing, but how important is it now for you and the fans and the club that we finish strongly?
For me, absolutely right. I hate losing. I love winning. So first and foremost, I want that. I've had some tough moments. I don't want to go back there. I want us to keep moving forward and up and high, keep raising the optimism levels amongst us and the positivity, and give our fans, our supporters, plenty to cheer about. We've got 4 away days on the trot now, so we're going to have to go and pick up some points on the road, which is a different challenge. But yeah, for me and for the boys to continually believe in what we're doing and what they're doing and performing to the level that I believe they're capable of and what they're showing, we've got to keep winning and picking up points and finish the season strong.
4 away games now, back to back. I can't imagine a run at this stage of the season where it's 4 away, but it starts at Shrewsbury, which isn't a short trip, but it's a place where you had your first game as Wycombe Wanderers manager, which we were a narrow defeat there. You must be looking forward to going there and putting that right.
Yeah, I really, really am. Really looking forward to that because, it was the scene of my first game as manager of this football club, the club I love and love representing and being a part of. So looking forward to going back there. It's another quick turnaround. Wednesday to Saturday does come around quite quick, but I dare say there'll be some changes because we need energy the way we play. We need fresh legs. We need ready to go. So, yeah, listen, we'll study Shrewsbury, a good opponent. Paul's done a great job since he's gone in there, and we look forward to a good game.
And at this stage of the season, obviously, the pre-season's a long time ago. The fitness is in the legs. It's in the bank. Game after game after game. Is it just sort of now just about recovery and then shape and tactics? Yeah,
it's exactly what it is, mate. There's little you can do in terms of we're not going to improve anyone's fitness or sharpness at this stage. It's about making sure tactically we're prepared for every game. It's about making sure that mentally, psychologically we're ready to attack every game and making sure that the boys understand what's being asked of them. And if we do that, then I really, really hope we can keep picking up some points.
Obviously, the manager always speaks so positively, but great to hear and see, such a great display, clean sheets of late as well, and it's fantastic to get a point against, I think, such a top team as well.
Yeah, I think it's a good marker, isn't it? I thought there were elements of the performance against Pompey the other week were really, really encouraging, and I've still maintained that Pompey are the best side that I've seen there, which is your classic football pundit, sort of state the obvious, they're top of the league. So, but they deserve to be with the way they play, and the combination of their styles of play was super impressive. But yeah, I thought there's been some really good signs in the last few weeks for Wycombe Wanderers. Defensively, when you build a house, you dig the foundations properly first, don't you? You get solid at the back and then you build on from there. I think, we'd all like to see more goals being scored. I think we can see the progress that's being made in that area. And with the summer ahead, it'll be exciting to see what the changes are in personnel across the board as well. But if we can start to tip the balance at the other end as well, based on that solid foundation, then we hopefully are in for an exciting time next season.
Something else which I also noticed from your summary from last night, there weren't too many players that you didn't include who'd had a fantastic game, which really bodes well for the remaining fixtures.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be tough choices now for the gaffer, which is great. And he's alluded to that being a really positive headache to have, and I agree because it's players will be knocking on the door saying, "I want game time, I want this, want that," and once they get their shirt and they cross the white line, it's up to them then to keep it, and that's what you want. And you want competition across the board. We've got it in goal now. We've got it across defence, full-back position, midfield, and attack. And with a window coming, we'll see where we are across the season. Also, we've got a manager now who's got a full year behind him in the job. Over a year now, calendar year, full season under his belt, will be within 5 games, including a trip to Wembley and a cup run. Huge lessons learned in that season. I think Matt Bloomfield will be the first to admit that as well, and he'll take the positives from all of those things. But yeah, I mean, he's alluded to it in his chat that we heard earlier. He doesn't want to go back to those dark days of that really bad run in mid-season. Echoes of Ainsworth there. I don't want to go back to that place. Torquay, etc. And it's really positive and important that managers are allowed to learn, to make mistakes, to learn from them, and to build on it and apply that knowledge moving forwards and building a successful team. Because often in football, using Watford as an example, there were 17 Watford managers when Gareth Ainsworth was at Wycombe. Who knows what would have happened had one of those been given the time, proper amount of time to have a sticky run, to learn, to build and put a philosophy in place. And in fact, one of those managers at Watford is now managing Luton in the Premier League. So you can see what you could do when you give the right manager, a young manager, the backing and the time, and you can see what can happen.
No, definitely. And real credit to Rob and Pete Coig as well, who I know had plenty of calls from fans at one point to make a change, and they did it, and that's been rewarded now as well.
Yeah, and it's time is the rarest of all commodities in life, and certainly in football. So if you're a manager and you can get that time. But don't get me wrong, there are people out there it doesn't work sometimes, and it's the wrong person, wrong environment, wrong fit, whatever. But, sometimes it's that right person. They just need a bit of backing, they need a bit of patience, and they need a bit of time. And football fans pay the money. They want to see instant success, and they're allowed to voice their opinion. That's their right. And sometimes you need strong people at the top of the club as well. And you've mentioned Rob and Pete, and people in football who make decisions. They're a huge part of this. And what was really encouraging, and what you want to see from your leaders in life and bosses, etc., is responsibility being taken. Rob's response to the pressure put on Matt was that it was my decision, and Pete, it was our decision collectively to appoint him. We want to back him and give him the tools to improve and learn and progress the club. So we don't want to change. It's not that sort of culture, and that was really important, I think. For Matt and everyone connected with the club to see that sort of leadership. And, we've certainly seen a huge uptick from January. And we look forward to seeing the same arc of progress into next season.
Much to look forward to in the remaining games as well. Enjoy your trip to Shrewsbury and many trips that you have coming up in the next few weeks as well.
Yeah, man. Motorway Central. Looking forward to it all.
Thanks a lot for your time.
Cheers, Colin.
Great chatting to Phil, of course. He'll be bringing you the whole match live on Saturday here on Wycombe Sound and on Wanderers TV, where you can get more from that interview with Matt Bloomfield as well, where he talks about the squad rotation that has been used recently and the reasons behind it.
Online, on Radio Player and on 106.6 FM.
Part 2 of the Wycombe Wanderers Show. What already? Still to come, we'll be catching up with Captain Jack. Jack Grimmer joins us. Also, in a few moments' time, we'll be hearing from another of our Wycombe Wanderers women guests as well. But first, with thanks as always to the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association, catching up with another person who has made plenty of appearances for the club and, like a number of others as well, have featured on the left-hand side of the pitch. I've been very pleased to have been catching up with a recent Paul Lambert signing, that being Craig Woodman, who, as you'll be, I'm sure, very pleased to hear, is very happy with his time at the club as well.
Everything there, decent training ground, good food. Yeah, didn't know too many when I got there, I guess, which is always different, starting a new club. But yeah, just keen to crack on.
And I guess it didn't take you long to settle in really as well, which was great.
It always takes a little while, doesn't it? New surroundings, new club, new people. But I mean, once you start playing football and training with people, soon get to know people and get stuck in that way.
And as well, I guess it was really nice for you to kind of come in, obviously with the position that you played as well, and to really kind of shore things up at the back.
Well, I started as a left back. Ended up playing quite a bit left midfield for Wycombe, I think, now and again, which is okay, something different. Yeah, like I said, good bunch of lads, and fairly half decent season really for the first one.
And didn't you get Player of the Season as well when you were there?
I did one of the years, yeah. Well, I just played quite a few games really, I think. Didn't know that I'd done anything too exciting, but kept turning out every week.
That's very modest of you. And nice as well, because I think, Wycombe have got some well, not kind of famous, but really well-known, left backs, and it was JJ's testimonial event recently as well. It must be nice to kind of be part of that group, if you like, of sort of left-sided players that have done so well for the club.
I guess so. Yeah, just doing my job, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. You don't think about anything other than just performing and trying to make sure your position is as good as it can be, really, and hopefully helping your teammates around you.
Because you played a really big part, obviously, in their promotion to League One. What are your memories of that?
Pretty much remember the last game. Sat on the pitch waiting for another result to come in. Never a good way of doing it, but glad it turned out the way it did, really.
I was going to say, because it must have been such a strange kind of feeling at that point as well.
Yeah, you didn't know what to do. Like you said, waiting on somebody else to, it was in our hands, I think, anyway, and we didn't do what we should have done. So then, like you said, you're waiting on another result to come in, and before you can actually start celebrating, really.
And you were quite sort of ever-present that season as well. That must have been quite a nice feeling to really have that consistent run in the team.
Yeah, I think, obviously, my best season, I think, of my career, really, just to, have a promotion at the end of it and play most weeks was pretty good for myself, really, yeah.
And you were made captain as well, which must have been great.
Never been one to scream and shout and this and that, but just through your performance, you do it, I think.
And what was Paul Lambert like as a manager to play under?
Yeah, didn't really say too much. Came in and read the team out and then seemed to disappear and basically said if you're performing on the pitch, you can do what you like, basically.
Was that really nice as a player, though, to be kind of given that freedom?
Well, as long as it's going well, it's happy days. But when it's not, it's a different story.
And did you notice a real difference in the change from League Two to League One?
Not a massive amount, really. No. Obviously, quicker, stronger, I guess. I think I've noticed a difference now watching a few games from, I don't know, what was it, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, was it? I was there, maybe. I think most teams are trying to play out now, so which is good to see, really. Really
rewarding to see that the club is, doing well in League One, because I think for a while they were seen as sort of a League Two club that would struggle in League One, but now they seem quite well established in that third tier.
Yeah, I think they see themselves as a champ club, really. For getting there and, like you said, consistently performing in League One. Well, new manager, I guess, and it was Blooms. Yeah, obviously they're hoping to get back there again one day.
That must be really pleasing for you as well, to have played with Matt and to see him now managing the club as well. Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm at the age where a lot of them are going on to coach and manage, and yeah, it's good to see. When you look at news and stuff, you see a few faces that you recognise, which is good to see. No, absolutely, and obviously it was going so well for you. As I say, being that player of the season and maybe the captain. I think fans were really disappointed to see you go when Gary Waddock let you go as well. Yeah, well, he said it was up to me basically if I wanted to go or not. Either way, he was happy. I guess, yeah, just a new challenge, I guess, and yeah, it didn't really work out too well for me, but that's football. Because again, you moved to Brentford and then did pretty well at Exeter as well. Yeah, it was nice to come home. I'm only sort of half an hour from the stadium. Yeah, and just to spend so long there as well was ideal, really. Has that been nice for you as well, playing in that area? Because I think, you've only recently retired, haven't you? Yeah, well, I'm still sort of... Somebody was desperate the other day, so I got my boots out again and had another go. And I've just been sitting on the bench, really, making the numbers up. Has it been nice still being involved with football as well and having a day job as an electrician and spending time with your family as well? Yeah, I think it's just good to keep training and just to try and keep your legs going a little bit. Because, once you stop, that is it, really. As you touched on, does it feel like the game has changed so much in the comparatively short time since you were at Wycombe? I do when I'm watching, like you said, League Ones, League Twos, champ games. Obviously looking at the Prem as well is
another level, that is. But I think most teams are trying to get to that level, I guess, and play in a similar sort of way.
And like you say, it must be great to see, like Russell Martin now at Southampton doing so well, and other former teammates and players of your age who are now managing.
Yeah, it's good to see. Yeah, I went to school with Rob Edwards at Luton. Watching people like that, it's definitely good to see. Yeah,
it's not something that interests you.
Not really. No, a lot of people have mentioned it. I've had the opportunities, but sort of just. Yeah, not for me, really.
Is it quite nice to kind of watch from afar? Or because I think some ex-players, when they sort of finish playing, they're not so interested in kind of like following the game or former teams that they played for.
Well, obviously you look at the results and stuff, but like I said, you've been doing it for so long, you're looking at something different, I guess.
No, absolutely. And what would you say is your overriding memory of your time at the club?
Just a great atmosphere, really. My family were always there and really enjoyed the place, so... if they're happy, I'm fairly happy as well then.
And do you watch out for other, specifically, I guess, left-sided players who whether it's in defence or midfield, these days in the current teams or, other levels?
Not so much, really. Just more worried about the old fantasy now, I guess.
How's that going?
Not too bad, yeah. Not too bad.
I'm sure you're an expert when it comes to picking left-sided players, probably.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you've got some bargains in your left side.
Cole Palmer, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing all right, isn't he?
Signing of the season, I reckon.
No, absolutely. He's doing very well indeed. Well, it's been brilliant to speak to you and show you, Maurice. Thank you so much for your time. Brilliant to chat to you.
Yeah, nice one.
Great to chat to Craig and hear his fantasy football selections as well. More from the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association next week. Let's briefly turn our attention to the women who have only got 3 league games left. Emma Newberry is one of the longest serving players at the club, and here's her view on the season so far.
Yeah, it was a great day. There's about 30 of us that attended, all travelling from different areas. Sorry, that's my dog barking. But yeah, it was a great day. We all met up at the fan zone. We had a few drinks there. We got a bit of food, and then we went in, took in all of the atmosphere. It was a good day, obviously, albeit the result. But yeah, we enjoyed it.
Really nice for you as well, from a sort of team bonding point of view and social aspect as well, and obviously to go and support the men as well.
Exactly. We try and do a few things a year with different players, and we invite everyone. So it's nice to get different people coming along. A few people brought their parents and their family as well, so it was nice to meet all different types of people. But yeah, as you say, it's a good social bonding opportunity, which then hopefully we can transfer onto the field.
No, absolutely. And we should talk about obviously your season as well, and how do you feel it's gone overall so far with just three league games to go?
We're hoping for 3 wins, obviously. That will do us quite well in the league. We're not as high as we'd like to be, but if we could get these 3 wins, then we're nearing the top of the table. 3rd, 4th, 5th would be great. A little bit higher than where we are, but as always, it's a bit of a mixed season. We've dealt with challenges such as player injuries, long postponements. We went many weeks without a game because of the weather, as well as sort of having Mother's Day and all the bank holidays and things like that. So we've had quite a long sort of time out of football in the second half of the season, which obviously puts different pressures on the players, the coaches, and things like that. So we did lose our flow a little bit through no fault of our own, but we're hoping that these next 3 games are definitely winnable. We've won 2 of them, and we drew 1 in our recent games, and they were all at the start of the season, so they're all sort of September, October, and I feel we really have come a long way since the start of the season in terms of gelling as a team. We've brought in some new players, some more attacking players, so we're hoping that those sorts of additions will see us through to the end of the season. So we are looking forward to it, and preparations are on the way.
And 3 seems quite a significant number, and for 3 reasons as well. You've got 3 league games left. You could get 3rd in the table, and I understand that's the number of goals you've got as well.
That is true. I was hoping you were going to bring that up. But yeah, out of nowhere, I just started scoring in the middle of the season, and that's what I was saying about with the flow. We really were flowing, well, me particularly. Not quite sure where the goals came from, but I just found myself in the right place at the right time. I don't usually score, so I was very, very pleased with myself to get 3 goals this season. Carl likes me to play in sort of a fullback position, getting up the wing. Doesn't always happen if we are sort of having to defend for the majority of the game in a low block. But if there's the opportunity, then I try and use my experience and get up higher. But as I say, it's not always available to me, but when it is, I try and take my chances.
As someone who's been at the club a long time, what have you especially noticed this season about the development of the team and how it's growing, and how you've got the new coach with Danny as well, and how things are really kind of coming together?
Yeah, it's brilliant having Danny on board. He's really injected some energy into the team with the sessions that he puts on for us. We always look forward to them. And his support from the sideline, he constantly talks to us and is really, really supportive. So it's great to have such a good coach like him on board. We've also still been attracting some really, really good players from higher level teams who want to come and play for Wycombe Wanderers. So as well as that, that's really an incredible opportunity for us to attract better players. We've always struggled with player recruitment in terms of, getting different players in and things like that. But with so much competition in the local area with other football teams like Maidenhead, there's Chesham, you've got all your London leagues as well. So, the player pool is quite limited, but the players still keep coming in, which is really good. And Carl's got excellent links with many clubs, so it's really valuable to have him as well.
Yeah, I guess you're always on the lookout for new players, especially with the coming season on the way as well.
Yeah, we're always looking. We've got a player ID evening coming up, so anyone can come for trials and then obviously join the team if they're selected. But we're always looking to recruit throughout the season, and we've got a really good social media platform with everyone that helps out on that, from Bobby to Darcy and to Craig as well, who does a lot behind the scenes. And they really have got our profile out there over the last few seasons. We've really seen the benefits of that, which is really, really important because, as you know, there's not a lot of money or funding for women's football. So we really do rely on these volunteers who put so much time into it for us.
And great news in the last 7 days as well about the fact that for the future of the club, in that the women's section are moving over to the foundation, and that must be a really positive step and must feel great for you, as I say, because you've been there a while and you've seen the changes.
Yeah, there's been many changes along the way, from playing at local parks to now playing at Burnham Football Club, which is an incredible stadium to play at, a really lovely facility with an amazing clubhouse for everyone to come and attend. And as you say, with the foundation coming on board, it's very early days, and obviously it's only just been announced sort of last week, so we're still trying to understand what that means for us, but we are excited to see what can happen, and strengthening the bond between the club is obviously all that we want.
No, absolutely. And I don't want to keep mentioning that you've been there a long time, but you've been there a long time. It must be really nice to be such an... Do you notice that you're... And Phil, quite a key role of yours as well is to be an influence on especially younger players, not only in the first team, but coming up through the under-18s and the under-23s as well?
Yeah, it'll be 10 years next season, so a bit of a big season for me, I'm hoping.
Well, you'll have a testimonial.
Hopefully not my last. Yeah, hopefully testimonial, But yeah, there's been many changes. I've had a few coaches come and go, managers as you do, players come and go. But the nice thing is we are a really tight-knit group. So whoever joins always feels welcome. We always make sure that they're one of our own. So in terms of the changes, they've all been really positive and are driving the club in the right direction.
So what would you say has kept you at the club for so long?
Good question. It is just generally like the family feel. Like there's players that I've been playing with for 10 years in that team, and none of us we don't want to go and play for anyone else. We just really enjoy the people we play with, the coaches we've got, the facilities, as I say, and we can see it is going in the right direction. I was a local Wycombe pupil, so I went to school in that area. So although I've moved away now, I still obviously make sure I can get to train and get to matches. I'm not too far away, but yeah, it's just the joy of playing for your local team, really.
And what's that like, really balancing sort of obviously the football and the training and the playing with sort of your everyday life as well?
Yeah, it's tricky. Fortunately, I've just moved to a different school because I'm a teacher, just down the road from the training ground. So that makes training nights a little bit easier because I'm quite local. But it's tiring. Although we only train twice a twice a week. It is sort of 2.5 hours per session once you're there. Once you get home, obviously the travel and all the travelling on the away days as well, it takes up your whole Sunday. But obviously when we don't have the games, we miss it, so we'll be mad not to be doing it.
And you must have seen such a positive uplift in sort of the interest and popularity of women's football generally.
Yeah, like with the Euros and the World Cup, obviously, and all the England games that have been shown on TV recently, been really getting into them at home, watching them, and to be honest, I'm enjoying the women's football more than the men's. It's definitely more entertaining at the minute.
No, absolutely. And do you set yourself kind of personal goals and targets, and of course, obviously, for the team for the rest of the season?
For the rest of the season, I'd say, obviously, we've only got our 3 games left, is to try and get 9 points. I'd be happy with 7. 2 wins and a draw, but yeah, if we can get the 3 wins, that'll finish our season off nicely. And the fact that we've already beaten 2 out of the 3 teams before, very early on in the season, so we've had a lot of training, a lot of support from the coaches, a lot of time to reflect on what we could do better in those sorts of games where we do tend to only win by 1 or 2-0, or very, very close games. So yeah, if we can get a few more goals in these last 3 games, then that will see us off nicely.
Well, we wish you all the best for the remainder of the season, and you're decorating, obviously, as well. And been brilliant to speak to you. Thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you, Colin. Thank you.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Final part of this week's Wycombe Wanderers Show. We heard a little earlier on in our chat with Phil with some reflections on the day, of course, on the EFL Trophy final at Wembley. We heard from Emma Newberry a short time ago as well from Wycombe Wanderers Women, who quite a few of their number were at the ground as well to watch the game against Peterborough. But somebody who not just was at the ground but was rather more actively involved in the game. Jack Grimmer joins us on the show. Hello, sir.
Hello, mate. How are you doing?
Really good, thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad at all, mate. Not bad, thank you.
So now you've had time to relax, and obviously you've had a reflect, and obviously you've had a game since. Not relaxed at all, I shouldn't think. Possibly was a brief relaxing. How do you reflect on that day at Wembley?
Yeah, it was, I think when you look back sort of with the sort of coldness, that, I think we look back on it on Monday and Tuesday, and I think, we were obviously gutted after the game, but I feel like we played really well, and it was a real close fought. I thought it was a real good tactical battle. I think the prep work we did lean into it really came out, and I felt like we were really solid in our shape, and I think a lot of our work was done without the ball. We controlled the game really quite well, and I think after the game, you had obviously really, really gutted to lose, and everyone was gutted in the changing room, and with your families there watching and things and what could have been, but the performance at least was something we can be proud of. But I am more on the all winning is all that matters kind of camp. So to me, I was devastated, but the work we put in sort of came out, and the gaffer said it a few times that he was proud of the performance that we managed to put in. It was the only thing that was missing was obviously the winner's medal at the end.
It was a great display, and obviously a great occasion, and as you say, must have been so disappointing to not come away with the win at the end. But is it too much of a cliche to say, there's so much you can learn from that experience, though?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a lot of the boys' first time at Wembley, and I'm sure it won't be their last. And I think even if it's just for the experience of what it's like in the build-up is massive for them. And it's one of those things that the prep had been so good, and I felt really focused going into the game about the game plan that we had to put in place. And you can't really account for a wayward cross that finds the top corner, and it's so frustrating. But that is essentially football at times, and you win some, you lose some, and it's the manager kind of said it after the game that the gaffer said that nothing he can say is going to soften the blow, but it's one of those things that we have to learn, and we have to learn for the years coming, just what we can do better next time. Because yes, I was really proud of the performance, and I thought we acquitted ourselves really well. But at the end of the day, the final is there to win or lose, and if it doesn't matter really at the end of the day how you played. If you win, then that was the most important thing. But I'm sure it'll stand us in good stead moving forward. As you say, there is plenty to learn, and we did well in that regards, post match going over the game. But as you said at the beginning, we've already had another game since, so it's a really weird and a busy situation.
No, definitely. It must have been such a great sort of experience and occasion, though, on the day, and especially as players, because I think for fans, obviously, you just turn up on the day, but you don't really realise what you're going through as players and how the day is. And arriving at the stadium must be fantastic. And we spoke to Ryan Tafasoli in the build-up the week before, and he was saying, even things like you don't really take into account, like obviously playing at 4:30 on a Sunday is not something that you're quite used to, and when you have your pre-match meal and that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I remember when they were discussing whether they would change the kickoff time. I think all the players were sort of hoping that they brought it forward, because I'll be honest, waiting around all day isn't exactly the best preparation. I think it almost just sort of builds the anxiety and the sort of nerves leading into the game. You're right. Taff mentioned it's random things like eating at different times, and you have to prepare and you have to kind of be ready. Whereas a 3:00 kickoff, your body's just in that habit. But like I said, it was a great experience for the boys that hadn't played there. You know what it's like, trying to eat pre-match when you're not hungry and you're just trying to force down food because you just want the game to kick off and you just want to get to the stadium and things. And it's an amazing day, and the fans turned out in their numbers. The fact that we managed to sell over 15,000 tickets is a great achievement for the club, and it is something that the players were very, very fond of, the fact that we managed to turn out in numbers, because again, if you compare that to our home figures, it's incredible that they managed to sell out that amount of tickets. So we felt the love and support, and I think if anything it just made us more sad that we didn't manage to get the win that we felt we deserved.
No, absolutely. But I imagine, so many fans will be impressed with what they saw at Wembley, and hopefully it will come to more games at Adams Park as well. Not that there are that many this season. One, I believe. But the penultimate one was last night, and what a fantastic response as well to bounce back from that defeat and put in such a great display against Derby.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a weird thing, because normally after Wembley, win or lose, normally the way we are accustomed to it, you don't have another game to play for about 3 months. So it's a weird feeling having 3 nights to sort of come back down to earth, prepare and go again. And but it was good, I'll be honest. It was nice to sort of go out there and clear your head again and just get back into another game. And it almost helped put Wembley to bed completely. I can assure you that on the Tuesday morning, the gaffer and the players, nobody was really talking about Wembley at all. It was such a weird feeling. It was, you're questioning if it ever happened, because all the prep was on Derby, which was a tough game. And I'm, just more relieved that I think we managed to put Wembley behind us. And, we would have loved 3 points, but it was more the performance and how we acquitted ourselves that I was most proud of, because after Wembley, you could have been down in the dumps feeling sorry for yourself, and Derby could have rocked up and quite easily taken all 3 points. So to hold out what I feel is a really strong Derby side is it's something that we can be proud of, and we do want to finish the season strongly and take that momentum into next season.
And I know when we last spoke to you on the show, you're saying obviously how important clean sheets are, and that must have been very satisfying to be able to tick that off last night as well.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they did miss some big chances, but for them not to have a shot on target is something that we've worked on tirelessly. Because I remember speaking to you earlier in the season, and we were struggling to plug goals in the last minute. We kept leaking late goals in the last few minutes of matches, so it is something that we've thankfully managed to stop. We didn't unfortunately manage to stop the fluke one on Sunday, but that's football, and sometimes you've got to hold your hands up and say that they were the luckier side. And but yeah, to come back to sort of, especially being at home again, to repay it with that sort of performance, and what I felt was quite a dominant performance on both attacking and defensively. It was something that I was glad we managed to achieve after Wembley's disappointment.
And it's been fantastic to see the flexibility of the players as well, because there have been a number of different lineups at the back as well, and Nigel's done so well, and Luke of course as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the gaffer's probably got a lot of headaches every single game, because between even on Saturday you changed the 2 centre halves, and we do have 4, for me, top class centre halves. 4 of the best in the league in my opinion, on any other given days. So it's the gaffer's got a lot of headaches to have and a lot of decisions to make, but that's the way he wanted it, and that's why he got a squad that was capable of challenging on a few different fronts. And it very nearly paid off with us winning the trophy, but I think it's just that consistency next year, I think, is what I'm striving for the most. I think if we'd just had the consistency in the middle part of the season, I feel like we would have, been in a much different position. And it gives us something to work towards and something to work on for next season.
It really does feel like you can finish the season strongly, and obviously unusual that you've got this run of games. Many of them are away, of course.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling that, after last night's game, that we won't be back there until the end of the season, to the final game of the season, and which I am glad is at home. I like finishing the season at home in front of our own fans, because it is, months until you see them again. So it's a lot of the called off games, haven't worked in our favour. I don't think they've all been away from home, which then moves them to Tuesday nights, which can be long for the boys travelling up and down the country, and you're just so bad with the timing that it's Carlisle that we've got as well. So it's we'll spend a lot of the time together on the bus in the next sort of 2 weeks, but the boys love it, and that's one thing that I think we've shown over these last few months, is that we do have a togetherness in the squad that's been unmatched in recent seasons, and it's once you get this run out of the way, then you have all summer to sort of spend with your family and recuperate and rest up. So it's we want to finish strongly, as the gaffer keeps alluding to, and take that momentum into next season.
And are you pleased with your performance personally? Because I've heard so many fans say, what great game you had, obviously last night, but also at Wembley and in recent games as well.
Yeah, I was. It was something that I felt I wasn't even really that buzzing going into Wembley, if I'm being honest. I was more focused because I knew that the threats that their wingers posed, and I knew that they're a team similar to last night with Mendes, Lang and Blackett-Taylor. I felt that they're a team that predominantly relies on the sort of creativeness and the injection from their wingers, and I felt like we managed to handle it really well. Myself on my side and Luke Leahy on the other side. I think we felt like we'd done a great job at sort of nullifying what we seen as to be their great strengths. And it's not just calling out us two; the whole team went into that as well, because Potsy covering behind us, and Chris Farino a few times at Wembley. There's a whole host of names that goes into a clean sheet, not just the defenders. But yeah, I'm chuffed with the sort of way I've been performing this season, and I feel like I've hit a bit more consistency than usual, and just the fact that obviously our league position hasn't married up with that is just the frustrating thing.
And great that you've gone sort of toe to toe with such top opposition in the likes of Derby and Portsmouth and Blackpool recently as well.
Yeah, it is. It's good. For me, it makes it a little bit more frustrating. I think the fact that we've not managed to be consistent this season, because I feel like when it's came to it against the higher teams in the league, I feel like we've managed to sort of acquit ourselves really well. And we've shown that on our day we're a match for anyone, which is just the frustrating thing, that we have dropped points in silly places and we haven't managed to find form at the right time. But, it just gives us confidence for next season that we are in a good place to challenge the top sides. And if we can just, get a bit more consistency, like I said, that we can be challenging back where we want to be.
There's still plenty to play for, really, in terms of the remaining games, and obviously finishing as high up the table as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. As silly as it sounds, I think a lot of people probably think we don't have much to play for, but I think the middle of the table is really tight at the minute, and I think we want to be, the gaffer sets us a challenge of finishing as high as we can this season and accumulating points as best we can. So it's up to us to finish it strong and, finish as sort of the best of the rest, as it were, because I think the playoffs are out of reach for us at the minute, but to finish the season strongly and bring that momentum into next season is key. And I think it just shows you that we are on the right path. And it has been a bit of a transitional season. I think we've had a lot of players, coming and going, and a lot of different ways of playing, and the gaffers mixed with a few things. So I think that now we feel a bit more settled, and I think that can only be good for the future.
We wish you and the rest of the team obviously all the best for Saturday up at Shrewsbury, and obviously the remainder of the campaign as well.
Yeah, top man, Colin, mate. Thank you very much, bud.
Real pleasure to speak to you. Really appreciate your time. Captain Jack Grimmer speaking to us here at Wycombe Sound. Let's now hear from Luke, who's often with us at this time, but where are you currently?
I'm currently in the depths of Adams Park, in one of the many hiding holes and back rooms, also known as the office.
It sounded quite mysterious till that point.
Yeah, sorry, no, it's just the office.
So talk us through your day on Sunday.
Oh, it was a roller coaster of a day. It's so good. I think you're either one of two people. You love working at Wembley, no matter what happens, or you hate it. I'm definitely on I love it. It's a great experience. Getting there is so easy on the train. You can just, get there nice and early, well, from 11 anyway, walk up to the stadium, got our accreditation, and then we were in the press area, which is it's quite fancy.
It must have been very strange, like being at the ground there before any of the fans or any of the really atmosphere and stuff started happening.
Yeah, so we sort of turned up around about 12 o'clock. So we were kind of the first press that we know around us, so we were the first ones there. A lot of the EFL that we know, because, Wycombe's been there quite a few times, know Matt and Phil. A couple have worked at Wycombe as well, so it was nice for them to catch up with them. We got to see in the changing room. I had the honour of helping design some of the stuff in the changing room, which is a crazy experience. Wembley Stadium, the home of football, and there's something that I've made on the wall, which is really, really cool. So we had a nice little look around the back area of the changing rooms, not realising later on, we'll come to it, that we had an even more in-depth walk around Wembley when we got lost later on. So yeah, that was really nice. Gareth Ainsworth turned up, Akinfenwa turned up, David Seaman was there as well. So we got both chats with Gareth and Bayo as well, which was, it's always great seeing them. They're always brilliant. So that was nice. And then the whole media team was there, which was really, really good. So there was myself, Luke Jarrett, Phil Catchpole, Matt Cecil, Darcy was there, Toby was there as well. So yeah, it was really nice. It was like a nice family day outing with some football in it as well. So yeah, it was really good.
What was your role during the game?
Basically keeping Phil on air, which is basically my role all the time. Yeah, so basically we're setting up the commentary, making sure that was all going out properly, and then just helping out with basically anything else that needed, so graphic-wise and stuff like that.
What was your busiest time?
I think it was probably sort of just before, so like the last hour, which is always busy, even like on a Saturday here at Adams Park. It's always busy. You've got the team news coming in, so we had all that. Matt, because of how things were, Matt was away from his laptop, so I made the team graphic, which was good. And then probably after full time, because the rules are very strict on where you're allowed to be at certain times. So I think it was 90 minutes before the game we were out by pitch side, and then 30 minutes after full time we were out on pitch side. Not that anyone sort of knew where we really were meant to go. So there's for people that don't know, there's the tunnel at Wembley. Behind that is where the players come in and out from the coaches, but then also that's the mix zone for interviews, which is where we needed to get to, which we had access to. However, we didn't have access to the tunnel. And Wembley is a maze, and the stewards weren't really sure where we were meant to go. So we ended up just walking down access roads and tunnels until some Wembley security helpfully basically held our hands and took us to the right place. And then, spoke to the manager, spoke to Del Taylor. It was such a good game. I think, Phil spoke about it earlier in the show on how proud that everyone should be about the team, and they really were. And, credit to Peterborough for winning, and well done to them. But it was one of those games where, even though we lost, it wasn't like it was a playoff, and that was sort of like it's ruined the season. It was just, nice to get to Wembley and get that all sorted. And, Del Taylor's goal was incredible. We all thought they were going to extra time, but it wasn't to be.
And it must have been so interesting as well, being close to the team, at that point as well, after the game on Sunday. Yeah,
it was, and I think a lot of them, when they were coming out, were feeling, that sort of like, I just want to get on the coach now. But, we went back on the coach with them, and as we got closer back to Adams Park, sort of spirits lifted, and sort of like, that actually, we've played really well, and should be really proud of ourselves.
It feels really fortunate you're not still there now.
Yeah, I could be, to be honest. The fact that we got lost so much, I might actually still be there.
And as you say, fantastic that they sort of used it as a springboard, really, and sort of bounced back so well last night.
Yeah, I think everyone was either going to be, if we win, it's going to be great for the next game. If we lose, it might not be. But, we were brilliant last night. And, Derby are in second place. We kept up with them. I think we could have won it, to be honest, last night. Gideon had such a good chance. So did Luke Leahy right at the end as well, and throughout the game. So, yeah, I think it's going to help us with this mad month that it's now Saturday, Tuesday.
And lots of miles as well, right? Not at home again until the last game of the season.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, poor Matt and Phil, who will be up and down the country while we get to be in the studio. Yeah, they've got a lot of travelling behind them, as well as the team as well.
Well, it's been brilliant to speak to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Colin.
Great chat to Luke, who's at Adams Park. Keep an eye on Wanderers TV to find out what exactly he's up to there. Thanks so much for listening. Thank you to all our guests. Of course, we're back next week. Another couple of games to review, of course. Got Shrewsbury on Saturday. You'll hear the whole match live here on Wycombe Sound and on Wanderers TV. And more football on Tuesday night, of course. Saturday, Tuesday, up to the end of the season. Plenty of games for you to enjoy, and hopefully plenty of points between now and Charlton on the 27th of April. As I say, thank you very much indeed for listening. Rhythm and Blues back next week as well, and you can listen to the latest episode with all the reaction from Wembley. And pre-match drills is out as well. Have a good week.